Nobody tells you this about your parents. One day, they will put you down, and they will never pick you up again. There is no warning, no announcement, no moment where life stops and tells you to pay attention. It doesn't happen loudly. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens quietly. So quietly that most of us don't even notice when it begins. We think time is patient. We think love waits. We think our parents will always be there just as they've always been, strong, available, permanent. But nothing in life is permanent, not even the people who raised us. When you were a child, your parents felt larger than life. They were the strongest people you knew. They always had answers. They always seemed to know what to do. When you were tired, they carried you. When you were sick, they stayed awake. When you were afraid, they stood between you and the world. They made sacrifices you never saw. They worried about things you never noticed. They gave up pieces of themselves so you could grow whole. And to you, that was normal. You didn't think of it as love. You didn't think of it as sacrifice. You just thought, this is how life works. You never imagined a day when they would slow down. You never imagined a time when their voices would soften. You never imagined a future where they would need you more than you needed them. Nobody told you that this version of them wouldn't last forever. Then life started asking things of you. School demanded your attention. Work demanded your energy. Ambition demanded your time. You didn't stop loving your parents. You just started postponing them. You missed a call and thought, I'll call back later. You skipped a visit and thought, next time. You rushed conversations and told yourself, they understand. And they did. They always did. They understood when you were busy. They understood when you were tired. They understood when you chose your life over a moment with them. So they waited. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And months quietly became years. You didn't notice the distance growing because it didn't arrive suddenly. It grew politely, silently, without conflict. And because there was no argument, no goodbye, you assumed there would always be more time. Nobody tells you this part. Your parents don't complain when they start aging. They don't announce when their strength fades. They don't call you to say they're lonely. They don't want to be a burden. Instead, they adapt. They ask for less. They talk for shorter periods. They wait longer for you to respond. They stop reminding you to visit. They stop asking when you're coming home. Not because they don't miss you, but because they don't want to disturb you. They convince themselves that your life matters more than their loneliness. While you were busy building your future, they were quietly stepping into the background of yours. And you didn't see it happening, because love doesn't disappear loudly. It fades with understanding. Then one day, something feels different. Their voice sounds tired. Their steps are slower. Their hands shake just a little. They repeat stories you've heard before. They forget small things. They laugh less loudly than they used to. And suddenly, it hits you. They're not just getting older. They're getting closer. Closer to the moment you've never prepared for. Closer to a goodbye you don't know how to face. And the pain isn't that you didn't love them. The pain is realizing you had time, and you treated it like it was unlimited. You remember the calls you rushed, the visits you postponed, the moments you thought you could always have later. That realization doesn't scream. It sits quietly in your chest, heavy, unmoving, and it stays with you. Nobody tells you this about your parents. Time with them is borrowed. It doesn't belong to you. It isn't guaranteed. It can't be saved for later. One day, you'll want to hear their voice, and you won't be able to. One day, you'll want to ask questions, and there will be no one left to answer. One day, you'll wish you stayed longer, listened more carefully, loved more slowly. And you'll understand why people say regret is a quiet pain. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Your parents don't want much from you. They don't need your money. They don't need your success. They don't need your achievements. They need your presence. They need to hear your voice. They need to know they still matter. They need to feel included in the life they helped create. And the hardest truth is this: they won't always ask. They assume you're busy. They assume you have time later. They assume you'll come when you can. But one day, you'll be the one wishing for one more conversation. So if your parents are still alive, call them, not when it's convenient, not when you're free. Call them because time is fragile. Visit them, even if it's short, even if life feels heavy. Sit with them. Listen to their stories. Let them repeat themselves. Because one day the silence will repeat itself instead. One day you'll understand this lesson fully, and when you do, you'll wish you learned it sooner. Nobody tells you this about your parents. Not when you're young, not when you're busy, not when you think you have forever. They only tell you when it's too late. If it reminded you of someone you love, or made you pause for a moment, please take a second to support this message. Like the video so it can reach someone who might need it today. Share it, especially with someone who still has time. And if you want more quiet lessons like this, less noise, more truth, consider subscribing. Not for numbers, but so these words can keep finding the right people. Thank you for listening.